Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namini Namaste Saraswata Devi Gauravani Vacharini Nirvishesha Sanyavadi Paskachai Desatarani Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vinna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Should I use?
हरे कृष्णा। तो हम सभी भक्तों का बहुत बहुत स्वागत करते हैं और हमारा ये परम सौभाग्य है कि आज हमारे बीच हैं शिष्येंद्र पूजा स्वामी गुरु महाराज के वरिष्ठ भक्त और सन्यासी शिष्य भक्ति प्रभाव स्वामी महाराज। I will just speak in English. Maharaj appeared in 1960 in Belgium, and he came in contact with devotees in 1992 around, and he had first meeting with Guru Maharaj in 1994, means around 30 years back around. And he got first initiation in 1998, and Maharaj became involved in preaching from 1992 to 1996, and now after preaching at Ghent, there is a place, and from 1996 till 2007, Maharaj engaged in managing many projects at Raardish in Belgium. There is a temple, Raardish temple, and Maharaj also held that temple in many legal affairs and solved many problems there. Meanwhile, Maharaj was requested from GBC body to become the secretary for global GBC body. 2002, Maharaj became the secretary and continued till 2009. Also, Maharaj was secretary to the GBC executive body committee. And then, from 2011 to 2016, Maharaj served as the secretary for GBC Sannyas Ministry. Maharaj is also a member of GBC Sannyas Ministry. And since 2000, means since last 22 plus years, Maharaj is preaching the message of Srimad Bhagavatam in United Kingdom, Germany, Bulgaria, Ukraine, and many other places. Also, Maharaj is teaching Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta to many devotees all over the world. Maharaj got sannyas initiation in May 2015 from His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Guru Maharaj. And currently Maharaj is preaching all over the world and also a member of the GBC Sannyas Ministry and serving in many other ways. So Maharaj is known for his Vaishnava qualities, especially humility and compassion. So we are very grateful to Maharaj. He has kindly come here. Maharaj will be here for at least 15 more days to come, and we will have regular brahmachari class according to Maharaj's convenience. So request all devotees to please take full advantage of Maharaj's association, and we express our gratitude to Maharaj by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
His Holiness Bhakti Prabhu Swami Maharaj ki
Jai.
Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnana Shakya Sakshan Militam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Staptam Yena Bhutale Shvamrapakadamayam Dadate Svapadantikam Vandeham Shiyo Shiyuda Padakamalam Shigum Vaishnavam Sham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dino Bandhu Chatpate Gopesha Gopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kansana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Panamama Haripriya Vankha Kalpta Visha Kripa Sindhu Visha Patnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnabhyo Namo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Bhaskachai Desatarane Srila Prabhupada Ki. So I'm very happy to be with all of you. That I will try to speak on subject matters which have some practical value for you. And that and also I was thinking about trying to explain some misconceptions we have in the beginning of our devotional service. That at least I had them, and that and how to rectify that. And that I want to speak about Krishna's protection. That how do we get Krishna's protection? By becoming conscious of Krishna. And what happens then? Lord Krishna explains in 1858, it's one of the verses we will discuss, but there are many verses where Krishna speaks about his mercy. So I read from Bhagavad Gita 1858. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Machita sarva durgani matprasadatarishasi atasitvam ahankaram nashasasa vinangshasi. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness but act to false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. So I read purport, small purport. A person in full Krishna consciousness is not unduly anxious about executing the duties of his existence. The foolish cannot understand this great freedom from all anxiety. For one who acts in Krishna consciousness, Lord Krishna becomes his most intimate friend. He always looks after his friend's comfort. And he gives himself to his friend, who is devotedly engaged, working 24 hours a day to please the Lord. Therefore, no one should be carried away by the false ego of the bodily concept of life. One should not falsely think himself independent of the laws of material nature, or free to act. He is already under the strict material laws, but as soon as he acts in Krishna consciousness, he is liberated from the material perplexities. One should note very carefully that one who is not active in Krishna consciousness is losing himself in the material whirlpool in the ocean of birth and death. No conditioned soul actually knows what is to be done and what is not to be done. But the person who acts in Krishna consciousness is free to act, because everything is prompted by Krishna from within and confirmed by the spiritual master. So I read the verse again. Matchita sarva durghani mat prasadarishyasi atasitva mahankaram nashoshasi vinangshasi. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act your false ego not hearing me, you will be lost. So Lord Krishna here, he says, if you do one thing, you have one result. If you do another thing, you get another result. It's not the first time Krishna does that in Bhagavad Gita. I think it's also further in the first chapters where Krishna says, I think at the end of the fourth chapter, if you have faith in me, then you have one result. If you don't have faith in me, you have another result. So here, Krishna says that you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. So by my grace indicates this is Krishna's reciprocation with us. But what is this mercy? What do we understand by mercy? A verse in that regard, which is many times misunderstood, is 9:22. Ananya sintiyantamam yechana payapasite desham nityabhyuktanam yogakstenam bhamyam. So in this verse, Krishna explains that yes, for my devotee, I protect what he has, and I give him all what he needs. So there are three classes of devotees. These three classes of devotees are in different ways explained in the Nectar of Instruction, in Nectar of Devotion, and in the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. But the main characteristics are there. The lowest is the Kanishta, Prakriti Bhakti, the beginner. So he has a few misconceptions that he thinks this verse that where Krishna says that I will maintain what the devotee has and I give him more and more, he thinks that refers to material expertise. And if you become materially more expert in things in this world, that this is a sign of advanced devotion. But it's not. It has nothing to do with this verse. If this verse 9:22, if you read the purport, Srila Prabhupada will explain that Krishna protects the Krishna consciousness of his devotee. Whatever consciousness he has developed, he will maintain, and you get it forever. And what we need, what's the need of the soul? Krishna will give us opportunities to advance in devotional service. So this is different. We are used to thinking the bodily concept of life. things related to the body. But spiritual life means start thinking in relationship with the soul. So someone said, one devotee said to another devotee, "You were not in the Srimad Bhagavatam class this morning?" And the other devotee said, No, I was sitting there at the back. And the other devotee replied, says, "I saw you sitting there, but your mind was somewhere else. Your consciousness was somewhere else. You were not present." So we are the consciousness in the body. If we are chanting Hare Krishna and we are not present, we are not really chanting our rounds. We must be present with our consciousness. So it's a different way of thinking of who we are. And in the beginning, we make that mistake. We think, Krishna's mercies, you get many opulence and enjoy, and the neophyte thinks I'm going to be happy in this world if I become Krishna conscious. But Krishna, how does Krishna call this world? Dukkhalayana ashashvatam. Full, temporary and full of misery. Srila Prabhupada explains, in many purposes, there is no happiness in this world. That's quite a statement. So thinking that by Krishna consciousness I will get a happy situation in this world, that will not happen. That's not the purpose of becoming Krishna conscious. The purpose of Krishna consciousness is to elevate yourself to spiritual consciousness. And there is an absence of suffering. That's something else. So like a misconception that died in the beginning, I come to this movement and the purpose is to go back to Godhead. No, that's not the purpose. It took me a few years to realize that. The purpose is to develop love for Krishna. And if you have developed love for Krishna, wherever you are, you will be happy. It doesn't matter. You are beyond liberation if you develop love for Krishna. And that's many times misunderstood. That also in India, many have that misunderstanding that they don't like Krishna because Krishna gives suffering. You see the Pandavas? That the Pandavas, they underwent so many miseries that so we have, I think it was Bhishmadev, when he was going to leave this world, he was on the battlefield of Kurukshetra on the bed of arrows, and Yudhishthira Maharaj had a doubt. He was thinking, just to put me on the throne. This whole battle of Kurukshetra was fought. And so many millions of people, millions of Kshatriyas died just because of me, and so many widows, so much suffering, that I will go to hell for that. And Krishna tried to explain him, but he would not accept Krishna's words. And then finally Krishna arranged that Bhishmadev would speak to him. And when, after the battle of Kurukshetra, all the Pandavas were dressed in their royal outfit and appeared before Bhishmadev. Bhishmadev was very happy to see them because this was his desire, that the Pandavas would rule the world as. And then, of course, Bhishmadev, in the Bhagavatam 1.9.12, he says, "Oh, what terrible sufferings and what terrible injustices you good souls had to suffer for being the sons of religion personified. You did not deserve to remain alive under those tribulations. Yet you were protected by the Brahmins, God, and religion." They were protected by the Brahmins, God, Krishna, and by following their religious principles. And that was their protection. And Bhishmadev said, as long as you are protected by these Brahmins, God and religion, there is no cause of disappointment. So the Pandavas were always conscious of Krishna. And they knew Krishna's position. But they never said to Krishna, "Why are you causing us so much suffering?" No. They were in their original position as a servant of Krishna. And they accepted whatever happens, good or so-called bad, is only Krishna's mercy. And that is really what changes, what should change in our consciousness. You have two things here. So, they were protected by the Brahmins, God and religion. That means for us, if we follow the instruction of the spiritual master, Brahmins, and we follow Krishna's instructions, and they instruct us in following the principles of devotional service. So if we follow the principles of devotional service strictly and we respect devotees, then we are always protected by Krishna. Then whatever good or bad happens in Krishna's mercy. About 15 years ago, I was really in trouble. And I remember I wrote Guru Maharaj an email telling that I'm in trouble. I wrote this email, and 10 minutes later I got him on the phone. 10 minutes. And he gave me various instructions, but one instruction that he gave me is, accept everything what happens, good or bad, as Krishna's mercy. And it is Krishna's mercy. It is Krishna's protection. So-called good and bad. The so-called bad, because the good and bad is related to the body. It doesn't exist for the soul. We think what's good is what gives pleasure to the mind and the senses. And what's bad, it's just what gives pain, and we don't want the pain. But a devotee becomes different if he is Krishna conscious. He knows that Krishna is a controller of everything. And whatever happens in one's life, good or bad, is Krishna's mercy. The so-called bad may be for our purification. And we may even not understand. And Yudhishthira Maharaj was in the same position. He didn't understand. And what did Bhishma Dev tell Yudhishthira Maharaj? Bhishma Dev told him, it's all the plan of Krishna. And we can only be an instrument in his plan. So we may not understand the plan, but Krishna is his plan. Then the result will always be good for the soul, for our real self. So that is So as long as we cooperate with what Krishna desires and what the spiritual master desires, it's the same. And we follow the religious principles of Bhakti Yoga, then there is no cause to think that things are going wrong in our life. No. However trying the circumstances are, that Krishna is protecting us. And is reciprocating. And Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita in so many ways how he reciprocates with his devotee. Ye yatamam papachante tamstadev bhajamyam. As they surrender unto me, I am reciprocating with them. And we have quoted the verse Ananya Sinte Antamam. So I give them what they need for their spiritual life. I preserve their spiritual advancement. Sarvadam Prachya Mamakam Sramvacham Transarapabhyo Mokshaisha Imajacha. Mokshaisha Imajacha, I will take care of your sinful reactions. So this means that whatever happens, we should stick to the principles of Krishna consciousness. Even if the external results doesn't seem good. We should stick to it. And that's where the Pandavas, they were sticking to their principles. Lord Ram was sticking to the religious principles. Of course, Lord Ram was Dharma Purushottam. He was showing Dharma, and it means not only for devotees, also for non-devotees, how to follow Dharma. But factually, our situation is different. Lord, in the sense that Lord Chaitanya is Prema Purushottam. Prema Purushottam. He came to give us love for God. And it showed us the process for this age how to do. And we should stick to that process of Harinam Sankirtan very strictly. And if we stick to it, our future will be auspicious. And we see the Pandavas, they were the most fortunate. In the Birad Bhagavatamrita, there Narada Muni is searching for the most elevated devotee. And he's going at Hanuman, and Hanuman saying, no, I'm not the most elevated devotee. Yeah, Lord Ram gave me some mercy, but where is Lord Ram now? I'm here. But the Lord gave more mercy to the Pandavas than to anyone else, he said. Because that shows Krishna's plan for the Pandavas here. He said, the Lord deliberately showed the Pandavas determination, religion, fame, wisdom, devotion, and ecstatic love by sending them poison and many other calamities to trouble the Pandavas. So it's Krishna who sent the trouble, he says, Hanuman. But to show what it means to be a pure devotee. And it said the ecstatic love. Ecstatic love, they were not in the body conception. If you are on the spiritual platform, in love of God, you don't feel any suffering in this world. It's not there. So they did not suffer. But Krishna wanted to broadcast their glories throughout the world. So it appears they are suffering, but it was only for their benefit, for their glorification. And Lord Krishna acted as the servant of the Pandavas. Sometimes he was their night watchman. At the Rajasuya sacrifice of Yudhishthira Maharaj, there Krishna was washing the feet of all the guests. He was an advisor in the court of Maharaj Yudhishthira. That he was the charioteer of Arjuna. That the Lord offered them praise, obeisances. So Krishna but Hanuman says these services rendered to Krishna, to the Pandavas, they were not superficial. They were true expressions of love of Krishna for them. So there is no duplicity in this relationship. The feelings were mutual. Also, the Pandavas were ready to sacrifice anything for the happiness of Krishna. So, these are important lessons we need to learn. And Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, in many other verses, speaks about this reciprocation with his devotees. See? That Svalpam yasya dharmasya trayate mato bhavat. Mato bhayat, fear. Yeah? That he protects us from the most dangerous type of fear. That was the most dangerous type of fear. Is that we become degraded next life, become an animal or something. But that's Krishna. Even if you practice a little Krishna consciousness, your next life you will revive again. In 6th chapter, Krishna explains. And at least you will get again the human form of life. And that Nami Bhakta Pranashati, Krishna says. My devotee will never perish, Krishna says to Arjuna in the 9th chapter. Baladev Vidyabhushan puts lines between the verses to make it more understandable. So Krishna speaks this verse that Name Bhaktya Pranashyati. My devotee will never perish. So he says to Arjuna, Kauntina Pradijanihi. So spread this word that my devotee never perishes. Declare it boldly to everyone. And Arjuna replies, why do you ask me to do that? Why are you not doing it yourself? And Krishna replied, I'm from Mathura, and those from Mathura, they are known as cheaters. But they will never cheat those whom they love. And that's the point. If we are not coming to the point of loving Krishna, we are cheated by the material energy. So if we love Krishna, Krishna reciprocates. And we will never fall into illusion again. That's Krishna's reciprocation. And so one can say it's not easy, this process of bhakti yoga. But Krishna, in the verse that we said, he promises one will become able to overcome all the obstacles. And he speaks also in the purport of 924 that he says, similarly, the practice of yoga, especially bhakti yoga in Krishna consciousness, may appear to be a very difficult job, but anyone who follows the principles with great determination, the Lord will surely help, for God helps those who help themselves. And in this purport, he speaks about the story of Garuda and the little sparrow. The little sparrow has lost her eggs, the ocean has taken her eggs. And the little sparrow tells the ocean, brings it back, or I will empty you. But the ocean did not listen, so she started to empty with her little beak, little water, empty the ocean. But of course, but that may not be possible. But by her determination, she got the attention of Garuda. And Garuda, one wing is as big as the earth, so he came to the ocean and told the ocean, you bring back the eggs of my little sister here, or I will start emptying you. And then the ocean brought back the eggs. So determination we need. Krishna sees that determination. Determination and be convinced of Krishna's reciprocation. Convinced that when we become Krishna conscious, we will factually return to the spiritual world. We will be in the spiritual world wherever we are, when we are Krishna conscious. We should be convinced about that. And that's important. That faith we need to develop. That if we are not convinced, we should do everything to become convinced. Therefore we have to here associate with devotees. Yes, because it's Krishna conscious. Srila Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita in the purport, is Brahma Samsparsa, being in touch with Krishna. So it means we have to learn how to live in a relationship with Krishna. Krishna consciousness is living in a relationship with Krishna. And what does it mean? 6:30 Bhagavad Gita. For one who sees me everywhere and sees me in me, I'm never lost, Krishna says. Nor is he ever lost to me. So we have to, Krishna consciousness start with seeing that everything in this world is Krishna's energy. And it's for us to use this energy in Krishna's service. That is the vision of an Uttamadikar. But we can practice that vision. So, any questions, please? Yes, Paul.
Thank you.
Asaraj Krishna.
In the beginning, you were mentioning that Kanishta Adhikari, he sees from bodily platform, and he will see, he would think that skills mean devotion or advancement in spiritual life. But he also thinks that what Krishna will preserve and what Krishna will carry is also based on material things. But sometimes in our preaching, we're also presenting this. You come to Krishna consciousness, your spiritual life and your material life will both become improved. So is it right to say that we're helping them to remain on a certain level of Kanishta Adhikari by preaching that way?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the question is, sometimes we preach to people, if you take up Krishna consciousness, your material and spiritual life will become successful. And is it wise to preach like that? Are we not keeping them on the neophyte platform by that? Well, that it's not untrue in some sense, because when we start to practice Krishna consciousness, then if we do it for Krishna, then we will feel satisfied in our work. So our material side will also become successful, but the results of our material activities, they will vanish. They will vanish, and so therefore it's encouraged that they should act in Krishna consciousness, because then they have the Krishna conscious benefit, and all the material benefit will vanish because it's going together with the body. But when we want to become happy, and in the beginning we are not Krishna conscious, but we do things for Krishna, and because we are acting in Krishna for the pleasure of Krishna, we give at least the results to Krishna, we will start to feel satisfaction also in our material life. But there are different levels. And Krishna speaks about karma yoga. And then Srila Prabhupada further said, karma yoga of Krishna consciousness. But that has to be understood. And that's also what in the neophyte states many times we do not understand. That karma yoga has different levels. The lowest level is karmani vadakariste mafalese kadachana. So I'm doing it, and I'm not. I'm doing my duty, and I'm not attached to the result. May have nothing to do with Krishna. But anyway, it stops their sinful reactions. That's good. But then Krishna says a higher level is, Shakhnarta karma noyatra lokayam karma bandhana. You do your work for me, and you give the result to me as a sacrifice. So this has different levels, that sacrifice. In the beginning, yes, we want to become devotees, and we do service, and the result is for Krishna, But while we're doing the service, we are not thinking of Krishna. We are not Krishna conscious, really. But we do the service and give the result to Krishna. So that's higher than the previous. Yeah. And then a little higher is Yat karosi yatasya snasi yatadasi datiyat yatapasya sekantyat atkus matarpanam. You do also your work. Whatever you do, whatever you give away in charity, you do the work itself to Krishna. So it means the work internally, you see yourself as a servant of Krishna, and you try to do it for the service of Krishna. And it means doing your work, you have obstacles, and you pray to Krishna, I'm doing it for you, please help me, I need intelligence. And you think of Krishna while doing it. So that's a higher level, and you give also the result to Krishna. But then the highest level of karma yoga is patram pushpam phalam yomi bhaktya prayachati. You do it out of love for Krishna, the activity. And the result is for Krishna. And then karma yoga becomes bhakti yoga. And Prabhupada says, karma yoga is bhakti yoga. Go immediately for the highest. No, the other stages. But we have to go to the other stages because we are not on the level to come directly to that. Because what is lacking? The desire to serve Krishna. Therefore, we follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga to develop this desire. So if we explain this to an audience, we should explain these things also. And then they will have the right conception. So that's a danger of being too vague in the preaching. We have to be more specific and explain this so that they cannot have misconceptions. It's not easy. This is not easy. That's the task of a preacher, to see the audience and understand the audience and understand their needs and their conceptions and so on. And it's not easy. That's the training of traveling preachers, of future sannyasis. That's an important aspect. Does that help? Something else? Yes.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank you.
Like you said at one point, like initially we have this conception that the purpose is not to go back to Godhead, but to develop love for Krishna. Like Maharaj, for example, like I wondered if you can explain more on this. Like if a devotee is going back to Gaura Vrindavan, then like is it like he should have Krishna prem? Like I think like this, he must have Krishna prem. Only then he can go back to Gaura Vrindavan. Like how these things are different.
The Krishna consciousness does not depend on a place. The goal of life, Lord Chaitanya says, prema punartamha. It's developing love for Krishna. Because the place where we are now is called the material world. It's a black cloud in the spiritual world. That's what it is. So we are in the spiritual world. We are just in the prison section. That's the problem. But we are prisoners because we are not Krishna conscious. We don't identify with the soul, our real self that we forgot. And from the moment we develop Krishna consciousness, it doesn't matter where you are, you will only see Krishna. This material world becomes Vaikuntha for the Uddhamadikar. He sees only Krishna. And that's a change of consciousness. So the spiritual world is a place, yes, but the devotee, and that's Lord Narayan tells that to Durvasa Muni. He said, oh no, it was Lord Shiva to Parvati after she cursed Chitraketu, and Chitraketu was not disturbed. He said, thank you. And then Parvati looked at Lord Shiva and I curse him, and he's not even disturbed. And Lord Shiva said, yes, these devotees, wherever they are, in heaven, in hell, or it doesn't matter for them. They are always in ecstatic Krishna consciousness. So for a devotee, wherever a devotee wants to serve, and if Krishna wants me to serve in the material world, that's all right. That's all right. The Pandavas are serving in the material world. They are in spiritual consciousness. Even residents of Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan, came to this world. And Srimati Radha, Radharani, and all the Sakis, they did not suffer. Their feelings of separation from Krishna was the highest ecstasy. We have an idea of suffering in this world, because it's a bodily conception. But there, suffering becomes a spiritual emotion of love of God at the highest ecstasy. And we cannot understand this because we don't have that experience. But when you become fully Krishna conscious, you have that experience. And then wherever you are. So that's also, Lord Chaitanya say that, And then in 8th verse of Sikshastakam, whether you trample me or embrace me, or you do whatever with me what you want. So that's a devotee. Use me as your instrument as you want. And that's the greatest pleasure of a devotee. And that's Krishna consciousness. So a devotee does not desire liberation. Does not desire to go back to Godhead. He desires to develop pure love for Krishna. And he prays to Krishna, please protect my Krishna consciousness. And that is what Krishna promised to protect in 9.22 Bhagavad Gita. Does that help to clarify? Yeah. Thank you. Good. Yes, Prabhu.
You told us that we don't need to know plan of Krishna exactly. But if we should try to figure out what is the lesson for us in this situation or not, or should we just continue go through these difficulties in our life?
We don't know the details of Krishna's plan. So the question was, can we know Krishna's plan? And do we need to know Krishna's plan? But yes, we know Krishna's plan in big lines. Yadai dai dharmasya klanar pavrabharta abhutanam dharmam tatatmam chichamyam. I appear whenever and wherever there's a decline in Krishna consciousness, I appear to re-establish these principles. So that's Krishna's main plan in every incarnation. And we are a part of that plan. We help Krishna because that's instruction Krishna gives us. Sarvadram, he says, Manmana bhav mat bhakto machimam namaskar mama vesh satyam te pachona priyoshime. Manmana, think of me, and then become my devotee. And then when we become my devotee, you will worship me, you will offer me respect. And then in next verse, Sarvadharmam Prajya, surrender unto me, and I will protect you from all sinful reactions. But then it's not finished. Then Krishna says, one who preaches this Krishna consciousness to my devotees, to people who are innocent, that he's very dear to me, and there will be no one much dear. So that's his plan. We have to preach. Then we are in Krishna's pastimes. Lord Chaitanya's pastimes of the Sankirtan movement. We are part of these pastimes. They did not finish. We are now spreading this Harinam Sankirtan. That's his plan. That was the instructions of Lord Chaitanya. And is also Krishna's plan. So that we know. And Parijana Sadnam Vinasaya Suduskram, Krishna comes to protect the devotees and to kill the demons. And yes, that's the devotees are his instruments in that. In Kali Yuga, we kill the demons by killing their demoniac tendency in the heart, by getting them to hear the holy name of Krishna. So that we can understand, big lines, but the details we cannot understand. Krishna is a super soul. He knows of everyone, what he did in all these millions of lives he went through, and he gives exactly what each soul deserves. That's quite an intelligence. We cannot not understand these things. Krishna has explained in Bhagavad Gita, these intricacies of karma are very difficult to understand. We cannot understand. We don't have the brain for that. We cannot not understand all these details of this plan. And we may become bewildered like Yudhishthira Maharaj, but still, whatever happens, good or bad, is Krishna's mercy, even we don't understand it. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good. Thank you very much. Shantara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai.
Yeah.